Hello, welcome to the Importance of CAASPP Testing Workshop. I am Beth Snade, Assessment Specialist at Compass Charter Schools, and I will be your presenter this evening. I'd like to thank each of you for taking the time to join this workshop. I know we're all busy, so thank you for being here this evening. In respect to you and our timeline, I would like to begin, even as participants continue to join us. Tonight I will discuss what CAASPP testing is and its importance for Compass Charter Schools. I'll show you which grades take the tests, and I'll go over a bit of what to expect on each testing day. I've muted the audience, but once I complete the presentation, I will unmute you so you can ask questions. You may also type your questions in the chat box. This workshop is being recorded. Okay, let's start with the acronyms. They are abundant in education, so let's take a little time to discuss those that are important for testing. SBAC is the Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium. California belongs to this consortium, along with 16 other states, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Bureau of Indian Education. CAASPP is the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress. This is California's version of the Smarter Balanced Assessment. When discussing CAASPP, it refers to all Smarter Balanced summative assessments. These are ELA, which is English Language Arts, Math, and the new California Science Test, CAST. The CAST test is a pilot this year, which means the scholars will not receive scores for their CAST tests. A pilot is a test of the test. When discussing assessments, I will use the term CASPP and SBAC interchangeably to mean the same assessments. CASPP is based on California content standards. Parents can use these results as one of many indicators of their child's performance. Results are used to monitor a school's performance toward achieving our state standards. These tests provide important information for our teachers, students, and our parents and guardians about our school and individual scholars' progress and their readiness for college and career. They are not used for grading purposes. The test itself is computer adaptive, so the test is customized for each scholar for a more accurate measurement. The computer-based test adjusts the difficulty of questions throughout the assessment based on the scholar's response. If a scholar answers a question correctly, the next question will be harder. If a scholar answers incorrectly, the next question will be easier. This makes the test individually tailored to each scholar and can quickly identify which skills scholars have mastered. This represents a test that is more efficient, more secure, and more accurate. So why is testing important? Well, California's academic standards are designed so scholars graduate ready for college and career. CAASPP testing is statewide, so the assessments provide an opportunity to measure the skills of all scholars against the same academic standards. Public charter schools are mandated to test at least 95% of their scholars. Counselors use scores to determine high school math placement. Achieving standard met on the English or math tests can qualify you for the Golden State Seal Diploma, an award to recognize scholars for demonstrating their mastery of the high school curriculum. And sharing 11th grade scores with the Early Assessment Program lets scholars know if they are ready for college-level work in English and math. This gives scholars the opportunity to improve skills during their senior year. Scholars earning a score of ready or conditionally ready in the EAP do not have to take the English placement test or the entry-level mathematics exam prior to enrollment in the California State University or California Community College systems. So testing is important because CAASPP are highly important in the operation of charter schools. Because we're a public school, we're required to have a minimum of 95% scholar participation with state testing to show the state and their representatives that charter school scholars perform better or the same as traditional school scholars. Charter schools are approved and then renewed every 5 years. We have charters that are up for renewal next year, so it's very important for us to meet those requirements when we seek renewal. In addition, there are quite a few organizations that are not in favor of the options that charter schools provide. One of the concerns they present to the public and to the legislature is that the charter school scholars perform poorly or do not participate in state testing, and thus their test scores do not support the need for alternative modes of education. As charter school employees, we know the benefit of educational options for California scholars, and we want to continue offering these benefits to our CCS scholars. Therefore, any situation that could cause hundreds of families to lose the opportunity of alternative education programs is a concern. Test participation and sometimes even performance are directly tied to our authorizing district's decision-making process when they renew our charter every 5 years. Charter schools, including home-based independent study programs, are being held to an even higher standard than traditional schools when it comes to testing. In addition to these tests, new state accountability guidelines require this data to be used as part of our charter. For those reasons, and for being able to gain important data for parents' and teachers' benefit, we also use iReady benchmark tests as an essential part of our program. Being able to see your child's strengths and weaknesses on assessments such as iReady and SBAC is such a benefit to you and their teachers. The iReady tests are also computer adaptive, so this is important in preparing our scholars for the SBAC tests, as they will be familiar with computer testing when they take the assessments. For these reasons, we ask you to join us in encouraging all those at our school to participate in testing this April and May. So, who takes these tests? All scholars, grades 3 through 8 and grade 11, take the CAASPP English and Math tests. Additionally, grades 5 and 8 take the CAASPP Science test. The state has also designated, by school, one high school grade that will take the CAASPP pilot test. For Del Mar and Fresno, that grade is 12. For Los Angeles and Sonoma, 11th grade, and for Thousand Oaks, 10th grade. So let's take a look at some of the specifics about the testing day. Testing is scheduled during the day. Scholars should bring a lunch, a snack, and water with them. Scholars may bring their own earbuds or headphones will be provided. Electronic devices are not allowed in the testing area. Scholars will be asked to turn their phones off and put them away during testing sessions. They may access their phones during group breaks and lunch. Scholars should bring a book or a magazine in case they finish a test section early. They will not be able to access any electronic device while other scholars are still testing. And scholars are supervised until they are picked up by a parent or guardian or designated ride. So this is just an example of what a testing day could look like. Each test site will vary based on the number of scholars testing and the physical setup of the testing rooms. Note, this schedule is subject to change and does not reflect that there are time limits on the tests. Scholars may take as much time as they need to complete the tests over the 2 or 3 testing days. So at 8 a.m. the proctors arrive to prepare. Between 8:30 and 9 the scholars will begin to arrive and check in. At 9 a.m. the test instructions are read and scholars will begin to sign into the testing system. Between 11:30 and 12:30 the scholars and proctors will take a group-wide lunch and snack break, and then testing will resume following that. Between 2 and 5 some scholars will start to complete testing and they'll contact their rides and prepare to leave. They're going to stay in the testing room or be supervised outside while they wait. On day 2, scholars in grades 5, 8, and the high school grades designated to take the CAASPP may begin testing. Taking the science test after the math test on day 2 means the scholar may not have to test on the 3rd day. If the scholar cannot complete both the math and the science test on the 2nd day, they'll need to return on the 3rd day to complete testing. So how long should the test take? The CAASPP assessments are untimed. The estimated time an individual scholar might take on the assessment depends on their grade level, the content area, and the type of items. The estimated test time for English is 3.5 to 4 hours. The estimated test time for math is 2.5 to 3.5 hours. And the estimated test time for the science test is 1 hour, though some scholars may need 2 hours. These estimates do not include breaks or total computer lab time, which includes tasks such as opening the test browser, logging into the test system, and receiving directions. These estimates only include the actual time the scholar is actively testing. We have 16 test sites across the state to choose from. Please help us reach our goal of at least 95% participation by registering your scholar and commit to bringing them to testing each day of their scheduled assessments. You'll fill in a short form to register your scholar, and you'll fill in the form for each additional scholar individually. I'll put the link to that form in the chat box at the end of the presentation. We ask that you put your selected test dates on your calendar when you register, and in April we will be sending reminder emails with your test dates and locations. And don't forget the incentive. Each scholar that completes their testing will receive the Phoenix Achievement Award, which is one free movie pass. What better way to celebrate the end of assessments than to relax at the movies? That concludes the presentation. I've placed the link to the test registration form in the chat box. I will now unmute the audience and take your questions. You may also type your questions in the chat box. I appreciate that each of you took time out of your busy week to join me this evening. If you have any questions after our workshop ends, please email me. Thank you again and have a good evening.